Hi, everyone. I'm Charlene Shirk, and welcome to Digital Champions, where we speak to some of the most innovative thinkers in the digital space. And excited to bring back on board my co-host, Jonathan Silva. Jonathan, so good to see you today, man.
Hey, Charlene, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. And our guest today, Kevin Fleming from Charleston, South Carolina with FENX Digital. Kevin, thanks so much for joining us today on Digital Champions.
Thanks, Charlene. Appreciate you having me on.
So tell us all about FENX Digital, what you do over there and some of the clients that you serve.
Yeah, so FENX Digital, we're a performance marketing agency that focuses especially on digital advertising. So, there's a lot of agencies out there that I feel like throw performance marketing in the description of what they do, but we actually really live it at FENX Digital in terms of with our partners, we actually set up deals that are based around performance. So really, we get compensated based on results and hitting the goals that they're after. So it's really a true performance marketing where our incentives are aligned and we really only win if our partners do.
Yeah, Kevin, I love that. So I'm also an agency owner, and went from in-house, went back to agency, and I hated the way that agencies work because it wasn't truly like they were necessarily always advocating for their clients, right? And so I love the way that you guys have this set up, and I loved reading your website and digging into your brand. But can you dive a little bit deeper into like what you're solving and what makes you different from other marketing agencies?
Yeah, absolutely. I really love, there's a Charlie Munger quote that's don't think about anything else when you can think about incentives. And to your point, I think in a lot of cases, incentives are really broken in the agency world. Really, when you work on kind of the more traditional methods of a percentage of spend or flat fee, it either leads an agency to want to increase spend kind of regardless of the value that that incremental spend is driving, or just to kind of do the minimum to be able to keep the client if it's on a flat fee basis. So what's different about us is structuring on a performance based, it really gives us the incentives to go the extra mile and do all the little things that we know will drive results, as well as really focus our time and our clients' spend on where it's going to drive value and produce sales, customers, revenue, leads, whatever the case may be. Um, and really, a byproduct of that is it also leads to full transparency. In a lot of cases, we all know that data can tell different stories based on how it's presented. So, see a lot of cases where agencies might highlight more vanity metrics, like your click-through rate is up, you got a ton of impressions, but what does that really translate to? So what I love about our model is we can really cut down and act like we're on the client's team and sitting at their side of the table and viewing the things the way they are. And we find that is lets us really drive a lot of impact for them. And then second, really just our intense focus on digital advertising and especially direct response for direct to consumer e-commerce companies. That really lets us stay abreast of best practices, what's working well, and really focus those campaigns in on driving results.
Absolutely. And I think ultimately, as advertisers, as an agency, it makes no sense to get a client on and have them for as long as you can have them versus creating those transparent and trust-based relationships that can last forever, and then you're really building your business as their business grows. And I love that. I personally I'm a huge fan of that. I'm a huge fan of what y'all are doing. So that leads me to my next question. What do you think now with the way that platforms are evolving and changing? What's your biggest pain point right now with digital advertising? And what do you think that platforms should be doing to make it better serve advertisers?
Yeah, so I don't know if directly a pain point, but I think a relevant answer to your question is really, as all the platforms are moving in the direction of automate as much as possible. And really trust us, kind of give us your creative, your copy, let us control the bidding and take our recommendations on budget. And I think it's kind of a double-edged sword where, obviously automation is really powerful and it's essential to harness it to have your campaigns perform as well as possible. But at the same time, if it's used incorrectly, it can also be really dangerous. And I think we see a lot of clients who seem to not think about the fact that the platforms who are giving you these recommendations and telling you to fully trust in their automation tools are also the ones who are getting the money that you spend on those campaigns. So
Right.
I think really being able to kind of smartly siphon through some of those recommendations and set up campaigns in a smart way with controls in place so that you can use automation without risking kind of blowing through budget on campaigns that won't drive value.
So Kevin, we've got about 45 seconds left to be exact. So give us your best tip as we close out this interview today.
So best tip I would say is really to be constantly doing data-driven testing throughout your funnel. Our approach is to be cycling through creative on our campaigns constantly, testing new landing pages, offers, being able to do that and move quickly can really drive a ton of value. And I also just think the power of focus. Sometimes brands spread themselves too thin among channels. And I think really focusing in on one or two and getting those dialed in before you kind of spread to other ones.
All right, Kevin, thank you so much. Great advice. We appreciate you taking the time to join us today on Digital Champions.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And Jonathan, great questions today. Always love riding shotgun with you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.
All right, if you'd like to learn more about what they're doing over there at FENX Digital, you can start by checking them out on dailyadbrief.com. Well, I'm your host, Charlene Shirk. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward to learning something new with you next time.
Simplify presents Addressable CTV, combining the power of TV with the targeting and attribution of digital. Simplify's Addressable CTV delivers massive reach with the ability to scale without sacrificing precision. TV buyers can generate incremental reach with household-level targeting, frequency controls, reporting, and insights. To learn more about Simplify's Addressable CTV and what it can do for your clients, visit simply.fi.